Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me again. This is a new form of video, so I hope you like it. It's a voiceover after because I'm working with watercolors and they take a while to dry. And I didn't want you to sit and literally watch paint dry. So some of these segments will be sped up about double time, and some of them are still shots of the final product. So I hope you enjoy it. This is a study I'm doing in the watercolor, playing with the Lyra Aquacolor crayons. And I take water on my brush, wet my brush, and then wipe the brush on the tip of the aquacolor crayon to collect color. So it's kind of like using the crayons as a palette. I don't draw right onto the paper and then blend it in because I like the control of the color that I get from a wet paintbrush touching the tip of the crayon. So you'll see in the video how I'm touching the tips of the crayons and bringing the color in. This is a study of fairy wings to just kind of play around. I'm working on practicing my symmetry. As you can see, I'm still working on it. I'm also working with shading and the contrast, light to dark, and also playing with the shape of wings, trying to make them as realistic and feasible as possible. It's kind of fun. As you know, I'm totally into fairies, and fairies are friends of mine, and I thought this would be a nice sort of way of honoring their contribution to my creative world. So with the watercolors, you start with a light layer, and then I'm building up the color into the shadow, going back a little bit at a time. This is one of the things I really enjoy about working with watercolors is that you can layer the color and you can make adjustments and play with it. Now you see me using a heat tool because I've got the color where I want it to be. I don't want it to move, but I want to add more on top of it. And in order to layer with another color so that it doesn't bleed, I use the heat tool to sort of speed up the process. And I'm discovering here quickly that it wasn't fully dry yet, so I'm going to let it dry a little while I make these sort of, I don't know what you would call it. They look like antenna, but they are part of the wing where they sort of float around like little pieces of wing instead of just these giant solid. I think fairy wings are very wispy and they have this sort of ethereal way of like hovering and floating even when the fairy is standing still. So these pieces are very thin and light and a little bit of moth-like inspiration. Now I'm getting that heat gun back in here to really make sure it's dry this time so that I can go in and add some layers to it. So some of the things you'll see me do, or you'll see the final product of, is that I've been using it like, what do you call them? Like a metallic pen, a metallic paint pen in here for some details. I'm also using like sparkle. There's a sparkle pen that I have that's like a liquid white shimmery. So I use a little bit of that in here. There's also another watercolor. It's in like a little tub. I bought the thing like one color by itself online, and I wish I could remember the brand that I got. But it's a handmade brand that I saw on YouTube, on not YouTube, on Instagram, and decided to try it out. Absolutely fascinated by their videos where you can see them mixing the paints and it's all these sparkles in it, and it's just so shimmery and mesmerizing to watch their videos. So I was like, I got to try this. And so now it's like one of my favorite. I have to get more. I'll have to research where I bought it from. So I'll be doing that in the next segment. Right now I'm adding purple and then adding another layer of the same color green, but it's nice and makes it a little bit darker. Just little details inspired by how butterflies and moths have like the dots that are supposed to look like eyes. So it's like a little, it's like intimidating to someone who might see them. I like to think that the fairies, they have the sparkle, they have the glitter, which are super pretty, but also they need to sort of scare away any sort of predator who might be looking to harm them. Look at this sparkle going in. You can see it on the wing that's next to it, on that blue wing. You can see how this sparkle looks. Unfortunately, the angle in which I filmed it, you don't see it too much as it's going down, but don't worry, you'll see it later in this video. So this is a green winged fae with purple highlights to the wing. This is a fae that was seen in New York City in the sort of Times Square section where you have all the city lights. So this fae is adapted to be very colorful, so it sort of blends into that environment. So you don't really notice it unless you're looking. Making sure I'm hitting all the little highlights with that sparkle, just to give her her true due as a Broadway fae, if you will. Oh my, the glitter is like my favorite part. Look at this. Ooh, it just sparkles so much. It really is like the finishing touch. It's like the icing on the cake, right? It's the best part to look at. So much fun. The overall size of this painting, of that particular wing set, they're only about maybe 3 inches wide, 2 inches wide maybe. Here's the whole project as I'm working on it. Let me move my cup so you don't see that. Beautiful morning this morning. It's very cold here and very snowy, but we had nice sunlight coming in my window, so it was making some shadows. But it made for really nice. Look at that sparkle. Woo! So much fun. On that purple wing set in the bottom left, you can see the gold metallic paint pen that I was using. Now I did a different angle for the next set so that hopefully I can get you seeing the sparkle a little bit more as I work. Sped this up a little bit, double time. You know, the fairies, all their wings are very different. They're very personal to each fae. There's no two fae wings that are alike. And they are similar to butterfly and moth wings, but the fae wings, they have to beat a little bit faster. The fae travel long distances, and they have a different weight that the wings are carrying. So their wings have a muscular quality to it. And they do get a little bit ragged, not unlike a flag that's been on the pole beating in the wind. The edges of the wings can sometimes get a little bit ragged. This is another of the New York City fairies. Very colorful, very flashy. But these are small fae. It's difficult for a larger fae to work in the city because they just, there's so many people, it's hard for a larger fae to maintain the hidden qualities that the fae have. They don't want to be seen. They just want to live their little lives, creating mischief here and there, but also doing some wonderful things to help support humankind. And these fae that are in the city with these colorful wings, they are so attracted to the arts and performance arts, especially. And they love to hang around when street performers are out. They enjoy the music. They enjoy how humans support each other when somebody's doing something creative. And so they flap around because you're busy watching the performer, you don't necessarily notice the fairy flying around you. And these bright colors and the sparkles allow them to blend in with all the lights in the city. So you don't always see them because they move so quickly. Adding another little layer here. So I'm respecting the privacy of the Fae by not painting the actual Fae itself. This is just their wings, just a study in their wings. Look how great. Oh, such beautiful. Couple of fairy eggs there. Some fairies I've seen in the Northeast. A little sampler of it. So thanks for joining me for my exploring of Fae wings in watercolor. Now it's your turn to take a leap into art. I'll see you next time.